What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the StatShark Sports Show. I'm your host, Sport Report MD. Before we get into our Week 3 player picks here, I just want to remind you to check out all of our social media platforms. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that jazz, especially on the YouTube channel because that's where you get your free picks. In addition to that, we also have a Discord this year. For $8.49 a month, you have access to all of the player props, the picks, and our daily fantasy sports analytics. You're not going to want to miss out on that. You can always hit us up for more details on that. But without further ado, let's get into our Week 3 picks where we look at wide receivers. The first receiver we're looking at this week is Dallas's CeeDee Lamb. Our proprietary projection system is showing him to get 88 yards. The betting line for him this week is at 69.5, and on that we are taking the over. Lamb has exceeded 70 or more receiving yards in 13 of his last 19 games. This week the Cowboys face off against the Arizona Cardinals, who have a very arguably less than mediocre pass defense, so that should fare well for him. So that is why we are taking the over. The next receiver we're looking at this week is Keenan Allen. The projection for him is at 87 yards. His betting line is at 74.5, so on that line we are taking the over. Allen has exceeded 75 yards receiving in 8 of his last 10 games. This week they are facing off against the Minnesota Vikings. Allen is figured to be the guy that they will key in on defensively, but the elite talent that he is, he's still going to be able to get open. The Chargers are a pass-heavy offense, so he's still going to get his numbers, and that is why we are taking the over. Our third receiver we're looking at this week is Garrett Wilson. Our projections have him at 80 yards this week. The betting line is at 48.5, so on that we are taking the over. Wilson has cleared 49 receiving yards in 10 of his first 19 games. His season trajectory definitely shifted with the loss of Aaron Rodgers, but as Zach Wilson kind of settles into the offense, hopefully gains some more confidence, Garrett Wilson is going to be his go-to target, so that should fare well for him. So that is why we are taking the over. The fourth receiver we're looking at this week is Tyreek Hill of the Dolphins. Our projection system has him at 62 yards. The betting line is at 83.5, so on that we are taking the under. He has cleared 84 yards in 10 of his last 19 games. However, he does get a lot of those yards in huge single game performances. He had one of those week 1 when he went for over 200 yards. He figures to come back down at least a little bit like he did last week. Plus, this Dolphins team seems to have found a really good balance with the run. So that is why this week we are taking the under. And finally, the last receiver we're going to look at is DeAndre Hopkins over at the Titans. Our projections have him at 72 yards. The betting line this week is at 51.5, so on that line we are taking the over. He has cleared 52 yards in 8 of his last 11 games. Playing for the Titans definitely is an interesting situation because of how much they rely on the run. But when you have a talented player such as DeAndre Hopkins, he's still going to get his looks. He's such a great receiver that he can easily get 10, 15, 20 yards on a reception. So that is why this week we are taking the over. And that is going to do it for this week's show. Thank you all for tuning in to Week 3 of the StatShark Sports Show. Remember to like, follow, subscribe to all of the social media channels. And be sure to check out our Discord where for $8.49 a month you have access to all of our props, picks, and daily fantasy sports analytics, so that we can help you to bet with more bite. I'm your host, Sport Report MD. Until next time, have a good one.